Welcome back to Building a Main. Last episode we started progressing towards River of Blood, and since then we've mostly just been grinding through the middling levels of Slayer. That's why we're at the Ancient Cavern. We finally got a Water Fiend's task, and these things are great, both for XP and charms, so we'll be doing them any opportunity we get. But before we continue with the episode, I just want to point out that I've made a few changes to the post-commentary audio, so if you notice, and if you like or dislike the changes, please let me know down below. We're seeing quite a gap in recordings here. This is basically because I've been doing Slayer at the PC and AFK/portable training on my phone, neither of which are particularly interesting, so I'll just sum up the stats we've been working on instead. For 73 agility, we've basically just been using it as a dumping ground for lamps. I know Silverhawks exist, but they scale relatively well with level, and wasting the lamps in this way lets me just do the fun stuff instead of lamping that instead. 79 herb lore came from summoning potions. These have been hugely profitable to make, and honestly I'm just kinda shocked how profitable herb lore has become, especially compared to how it used to be. 71 cooking has just been from cooking desert souls on portables in World 84. Not much interesting there. For 80 crafting, we've been continuing to make earth battle staves. Again, a surprisingly profitable skill to train compared to the past where dumping mills into gems was the go-to method. And farming is just continuing to go up from our player-owned farm ticking over every day. And divination is just from daily caches. We've also managed to knock out the quest requirement of 79 construction by using teak planks at a portable workbench. Between the workbench and the scroll, you save a ton of planks doing this, which added up to a nice saving, but it's still the most expensive skill for us to train.
And there we go, already got up to 53 with our first send out. So we just send the crocodile out. Okay, that one's swimming away, this is unfortunate, but you just stack up more gigs while he's out, and then by the time he brings them back, he drops a shell on the floor. These don't sell for what they examined for, as I found out last time. I don't think they are traded in high enough amounts. But you can just see how much XP you can get from this. It's actually kind of incredible. Okay, we're just getting 70 Hunter now. This took like 2 hours from 52 or 53. I'm going to go pick up the next flower so that I can hunt the hasty whirligigs, which we just unlocked. They're a little bit better XP. Not sure if the XP per hour is much better. The wiki doesn't really have much details about them. They kind of recommend swapping over to profitable methods at this point. But I'm enjoying this and the XP is great, so I'm going to continue here. And we are done. 76 Hunter. This is, as I said before, a really fast training method. However, especially once you get the upgrade to increase the stacks to 5, it is so click intensive that there's no chance I would use this method all the way to 99. But that's fine, because at 75 we unlocked Big Game Hunter, which is probably the method I'm going to use to go for 99 because it's a really enjoyable hunter training method. Otherwise, we now have the requirement for Lord of Vampirium, so we're pretty much done with whirligigs. Okay, you really should repair this thing as soon as you get your 200th shard, because it gives 10% XP buff to this entire place. I kind of sat on mine for a while. That 10% would have been quite nice.
I continue to be surprised with the rate at which you get Dungeoneering tokens from not doing Dungeoneering. We're already buying the Split Dragon Tooth Necklace and the Scroll of Efficiency for smithing, yet we haven't done any more Dungeoneering since the last time we were here. This was also the point where I decided to start using Silverhawks for agility training, meaning that all of our random lamps etc. will be going into divination from now on so that we can get invention unlocked as soon as possible. We're putting the Split Dragon Tooth Necklace straight to work at Hellhounds. This is a pretty old school method of gathering hard clues, but we're actually going to convert them down to easies to avoid the 25 limit. The reason we're here is because we have a Calphite Queen Reaper task, and I need a better melee setup for that. So we're going for 70 attack. This isn't the quickest way to train melee by a long shot, but the clue scrolls definitely make up for that. The main problem with the Cowfight Queen is that she has a surprisingly high defense level for her combat level, especially considering she's unlocked as a Reaper task before Barrows or the Chaos Elemental. But tier 70s and an extreme set are enough to get a Reaper task done. I wouldn't want to farm the boss in this getup, but it's certainly killable.
So with that Reaper assignment done, we now actually have access to the Altar of War, because that was our 200th boss kill. And we also get access to our second portal over there. So this Altar of War actually restores both summoning and prayer points. So we now have a one-click teleport that takes us to an altar and a bank, which is incredibly useful. The Kandarin Monastery teleport is still useful until we finish Leshen's quest, because it takes us right near a fairy ring, but this is one of the main reasons I got the easy Ardoin tasks done, was to get access to an altar very easily. So with Slayer, my MVP task on the way to 78 has actually been Water Fiends, which I was originally kind of annoyed about keeping assigned because I didn't want to go and unlock the Ancient Cavern, but they are such good range and Slayer XP at this level that if you get them, just do them. They're so good, and so many crims too. But for now, we're just doing a Greater's task. Not quite as good as Water Fiends, but similar idea with some good range XP and some okay Slayer XP. For a rough idea, these give 700 XP a kill spread across all the skills, while Water Fiends give like 1700. So it's quite a big difference. 78 Slayer complete. This is the last Slayer task we're going to be doing before we unlock Invention and complete River of Blood. But our melee stats are kind of lacking, so we're going to kind of need to power farm those up a bit. We need 75 strength and 78 attack. So I think for that, we're going to go to the Abyss, because I need some things from the Abyss anyway to unlock relics from archaeology for runecrafting training, I believe. Yep, so that's the plan. We're going to finish up this task, and then we're going to get into the Abyss with our halberd and start powering through some of the rest of these stats. Okay, so we're all set up in the Abyss. I'm not sure if I'm in an optimal spot. There's probably a better place I could be standing. But I don't have Soul Split, so I'm kind of blocking one tile against a wall to reduce the incoming damage a bit. Otherwise, I'll have to just bank way too often. And yeah, we're going to go here all the way to 78 attack and 75 strength, which will give us almost the last requirements. The only other requirements we have are 78 range, which we're almost done with, and 80 Herbler, which, again, we're almost done with. So we've almost completely met all the skill requirements for River of Blood. And that's the melee training complete. We have 78 attack and 75 strength. And thanks to our combat level being magic based, we didn't actually gain any combat levels. We are very, very close to all the requirements now. We have just Herblore and range to push over the finish line, and then we can head towards River of Blood.
It's time to address the elephant of December, the wrapping paper event. This event was incredibly powerful, and I didn't know quite how insane it was going to be at the start, so I ended up partaking in it. This event gives absolute truckloads of lamps and stars based on the time you spend gaining XP, which for us, at this stage of the account, is basically all the time, especially with mobile existing. So if you see us just gain a bunch of random levels or a ton of bonus XP from seemingly nowhere, it's from this event.
So I just went into my bank, and we actually got the strength pet while we were training in the Abyss. I didn't even realize because my inventory must have been full, but that's our second pet on the account. I'm not sure if I actually got this on my Iron Man either, so yeah, that's a nice cool pet to get. And while we're at the GE, we'll collect on some of our training methods. So I trained crafting through Earth Battle Staves and made a tidy profit there. And I trained Herblore through summoning potions. These are kind of slow to sell, but they do eventually sell for around this price. And yeah, we're going to make about 5 more mil after this. Our cash stack is currently up to 115 mil. I've not decided yet what we're going to be spending it on, but it's very likely that it will be some kind of tier 80 weapon to get us into bossing. And if you were wondering what kind of loot you get from 76 or 78 even Slayer, this is roughly what I got. I cleared this out a few times to get some money for training supplies, but most of it is still here, ignoring the talismans. Those were from the Abyss.
So, we've been closing in on the requirements for invention for a while now. We got 80 crafting a while back from our battle staves, and I recently turned all my proteans into memories and just used them up to get my divination level up, and kind of get over that 70 to 80 hump where caches don't really give that great XP, but there's enough distance between levels that it's kind of slow. So that just leaves smithing, and the plan here is simply make burial sets. It's not the most cost-effective way, but I don't think any of these low-tier sets sell for enough to be worth doing it any other way. Maybe when we get to Elderrune that'll change, but for now we're just going to make burial sets, burn some gold, and get invention unlocked.
Started off a QPD Reaper and already at completion time of 2.5 minutes. We're absolutely blasting. Hey, that's our first drop. So the pieces here aren't that expensive, but that's the royal frame towards our royal crossbow. Okay, on to the second task, Reaper task of the day, because I let them stack up, which is going to be Dagonoth Kings, so we're just going to go and kill 14 Rexes. Last kill of the Reaper, we got a Dragon Hatchet. So I actually bought a Dragon Hatchet, and I'm probably just going to hold on to this one to turn it into the Crystal Hatchet. Because I can't remember if you can take the hatchet out of your tool belt. I know you can take the pickaxe out, but I'm not sure about the hatchet. Okay, our second cache of the day got us to 87 divination. And something nice here is if we hand in this woodcutting daily and collect our rewards, our third day this week was a Death Touch Dart.
And after running out of things to get distracted by, we got 80 smithing, which means invention is now unlocked, so let's head over to the Invention Guild.
Okay, here it is, the Invention Guild, just northeast of the Falador Lodestone. Get to talk to Doc and start the invention tutorial. Not sure what's up with this dialogue box, but invention level 2. Okay, invention tutorial complete. Now, if I remember rightly, this bit gets kind of boring because the best way to just get up to 27 invention is just disassemble a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to go find some stuff to disassemble. And to start with that, we're going to head to our kingdom. Okay, collecting from our kingdom, we've got a bunch of mahogany logs, which we can sell for some money. Hopefully there's some good seeds in the bird's nest, but we got 4,300 maple logs, which I'm going to just disassemble into simple components.
So I ended up making a few mistakes with low-level invention training. One was not realizing that different items gave vastly different experience and assuming it was all going to be as slow as disassembling maple logs, which is not the case. If I'd gone to the Barrack Armor shop, I would have found that out pretty quickly. The other one was that I ended up settling on just waiting for the Sun Spear and using that to level up to 27, just disassembling it at whatever level I can actually get it to. I'm not sure why I didn't just use Black Salamanders for this. I'm assuming I forgot they were augmentable.
Okay, so it looks like I'd be paying about 400k per augmenter. Even at high junk reduction chance, because of the cost of the energy in an augmenter and the cost of the base parts, this actually costs like 600k to make. I don't know who's selling these for 400k, unless they know something I don't. But yeah, we'll be buying augmenters for the foreseeable future. I may have spoken too soon about having some free time, but that's all fired up complete, which will become useful later when we go and get the XP increase items for firemaking training. Okay, next up on the list is Legends Quest, so I've got my Beast of Burden prepared and my inventory, and hopefully this doesn't take us more than 90 minutes. That's Legends Quest complete. Only took about 40 minutes, so not too bad. I haven't done this quest in ages, so I was very, very lost. But this unlocks us the Legends Guild, and if we go and find the shop here, I'm assuming it's this one? There we go. So we can pick up a Cape of Legends, which, if we were an Iron Man, would actually be a reasonable statted cape. But for us, it's a teleport to outside of the Legends Guild, right next to this fairy ring, which is going to be very useful when we decide to grind clue scrolls, because this is how, when I do easy clues, I get close to a fairy ring.
All that's left now is the vampire storyline itself, starting off with Legacy of Sirges, which unlocks blood ring crafting, something I plan to make quite a bit of use of in the future. This quest leads straight into Branches of Darkmare, which is a pretty fun quest involving sneaking into Vampire Society to take down Vance from Klaus with help from Venescula, who is another vampire that is 100% not using us for her own cause.
Okay, I have made a decision, and the books are going into prayer because it's either expensive or slow to train.
Lord of Vampirium houses one of the most balanced boss fights in any RuneScape quest because they completely control what supplies and weapon you can bring into the fight. This is honestly one of the most fun quest bosses in the game, and I kinda wish they would do more like this in the future. So with Draken defeated, we turn in Lord of Vampirium, and instead of going and getting 75 prayer so that I can use the book on prayer, I default to my Iron Man behavior and use it in Herblore.
There we go, 78 ranged is finished, and that is the last level requirement for River of Blood. Thanks to River of Blood requiring a super restore, I just realized my foolishness in using prayer pots all this time. Super restores restore more prayer points than a prayer pot, and cost less than half of a prayer pot.
Unfortunately, Safilan isn't quite as good a fight as Draken, but with him defeated, we complete River of Blood. Again, we put the book into Herblore, even though it's really profitable to train. I don't know why I did this. Iron Man behavior, I guess. But the best reward from River of Blood is the Sun Spear, a tier 78 augmentable weapon for all 3 styles, and it's reclaimable for 600k. So this becomes one of the best options, if not the best, for doing Slayer, whilst also training Invention. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into next time. I absolutely love Slayer, and I've got some big plans for how we're going to get 99 in the skill, while making quite a bit of money, hopefully. And also next time I think we're going to tackle a goal I set earlier in the series that was just a bit too big at the time. So, with all that said, hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, you know what to do. And I also hope to catch you again next time.